Good time zone. My name is Tiffany Witcher, and I'm known as the Vtubing Charity Witch on Twitch. I'm an accessibility advocate, consultant, voice actor, and I like to do charity streams and help others. This month is Disability Pride Month, something that is very close to my heart. I suffer from multiple chronic illnesses from lupus to epilepsy that has left my body damaged, and I can't really work as well as I used to. I used to be a former wrestler and theater actress, but those dreams are gone. I have now switched to content creating, helping others, making people laugh, and having fun gaming. Today I wanted to highlight some other people that shows how Vtubing has helped them as a disabled content creator. What is Vtubing, you might ask? Vtubing is a form of live streaming where you use something like a motion capture, camera, or even an iPhone and a 3D, 2D, or even a PNG-like avatar instead of using your real-life face. For myself, it has helped me greatly. I suffer from multiple scarring and a lot of pain, and due to that, it used to take me an hour to just get ready for streaming. Vtubing has really helped with that because I can cut that time so much and still enjoy being myself when I'm live. Vtubing can be so much more for the disability community. From using text-to-speech, motion, or just portraying yourself in an avatar that you feel comfortable with. I want to highlight that today with a couple extra content creators. Please enjoy.
Greetings and good day. I am Lord Amunedal of Terramar. I am a variety Vtuber. I create a lot of different types of content depending on the day, from tabletop RPGs to a roundtable discussion, or perhaps even video game streams if I feel so inclined.
Hi, I'm Gem, aka Disabledanfab. My content is kind of unique, I guess, because I can go from super chill, cozy games like Stardew Valley to quite twisty puzzle games like The Room 3 or anyone in that series, or even Danganronpa, where I will do full voice acting for each and every one of the characters, because I'm cool.
Salutations, my name is Spryte. I'm a horror variety streamer. I play a lot of horror games ranging from like Outlast, Resident Evil, to Five Nights at Freddy's, and a lot of different games in between. I mainly do horror because I want to bring just more attention to the genre, because I feel like it doesn't get as much attention as it deserves, and I feel like it's a really underrated genre of games. Besides horror games, I occasionally do some art and solitaire streams, and I am now starting to do some monthly charity streams just for any charities that are in need.
I'm Valium Sadfeeme McgirlBoss, creator of such wonders as How to Talk to Normies and Top 10 Reasons Why TERFs Are Wrong. I'm a transgender internet mom and anarchist. I suppose you could call me a PNG tuber, though sometimes my eyes move or other parts of me jiggle. I can't really afford a VR computer or custom model because I'm a poor disabled person, but I would use them if I could. Because I'm trans, I use a text-to-speech voice to talk, which makes live content difficult. I'm less of a streamer and more of a video essayist, part of the general breadtube space. My channel flips between being a stream of consciousness and telling the story of people like me.
Hello everybody, I'm Zenith Warrior Princess, the cutest of buns, or in real life, my name is Zenith D. Gregorio. I am a VTuber. I go by Zenith Bun Buns online because I stream and make videos for YouTube. My main channel is the Bun Squad for videos. I make reviews on various different forms of media, from completing video games to movies to anime and everything in between. I make podcasts and I stream video games in my free time. Bunnies do a lot. I'm a ghost bunny. We don't gotta sleep because we're ghosts. It's all about being a ghost. Gotta go ghost.
I suffer from autism, though I find suffer to not exactly be the apt term. But I live with it. It has affected me as a content creator in a number of ways. Namely in how I reach out and interact with others. In a lot of ways I can seem like I'm very outgoing, but it's always a very difficult process in order to reach out or build bonds or ties. I very regularly struggle with communicating and understanding the emotions of an individual. It's always difficult to have to figure out the meanings or acronyms or idiosyncrasies that different individuals will have unique to themselves. And that's always been a struggle.
What disabilities or conditions do I have? I guess I'm just gonna go with the ones that affect my VTubing or streaming the most, which would be physical conditions. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And so there are a lot of days when I am in loads of pain and can't be, I suppose, camera ready. There are days when I can't get out of bed, but when I can, if it's a bad day and I manage to get over to my desk to stream, I probably look horrific, and sometimes I might just not want to be on camera. And so when that happens, I use my little pixie over here to try and help with that, so people can still feel like they're interacting with a person, like they have something to visualize, right? Even though it's not me.
I suffer from partial blindness, which has caused me to become completely blind in my left eye. I suffer from deteriorating deafness, and I also suffer from severe arthritis in my legs and knees, which have caused me to use a cane to help me walk and such. I also suffer from CPTSD. All of these conditions combined and even by themselves have really affected me in a way of a content creator, which I didn't really think about ahead. I never really thought it would affect me in this way when I first started. With my blindness and deafness, it can and has caused some miscommunication while playing games, and also communicating with my own chat and also people outside of chat. And with my CPTSD, it can make it very hard and difficult to make me be able to communicate with my chat and just people even outside of streaming.
I'm formally diagnosed with ADHD, but I may be autistic as well. Who knows? As many of you watching may know, getting good healthcare, never mind getting formally diagnosed, is a lot more difficult than it should be, in many places. Because I was a disappointment, and my parents had me young, I was neglected a lot in my early life, and never really learned how to live. My parents and doctors threw medicine at the problem, but it caused nasty side effects, and it wasn't sustainable. Eventually, I'd have to get off the meds and allow my resistance to fall. If I'm unmedicated, I live by bouncing from one special interest to another, often hyper-focusing on that exclusively and neglecting my responsibilities, relationships, and hygiene. Sure, I can tell you the intricate details of whatever I'm studying, but I'm living like an animal. Misguided faith was put on me, magically changing by growing up. Combine that with a lot of general bullying and abuse, and you have a recipe for stunted development and complex PTSD, which is when you get PTSD from many smaller traumatic incidents adding up over time. Recently, I got kicked out of my house, and that didn't help either. CPTSD means going into fight or flight mode at the most mundane situations, feeling overwhelmed around people or like they are going to try to hurt me. So, ADHD, autism, PTSD, I essentially can't function like a typical person, but I seem vaguely normal from the outside and competent at my special interests, so I get treated like I'm faking it, or I'm not really disabled. This seems to give people permission to judge me and punish me and tell me I'm just not trying hard enough. I know very well my limits because I live with them every day. The priority in this world is to get a job, so I followed the only thing that sustainably holds my interest for a job. Making art where I get to be myself and talk about the things I know about. Whether it will work out or not is for time to tell. Otherwise, I'll just go live in the woods and survive on berries. There is a positive side too. Because of how I am, I seem made for this work and I do it well. Though if I lose hyperfocus, I can end up with a lot of unfinished projects.
So, I actually suffer from a few different disabilities, both physical and mental. On the physical side, I have arthritis in both my knees. I suffer from stomach issues such as gastritis, acid reflux, and other intestinal issues, and I have a chest condition called pectus excavatum that is a curvature of the rib cage. So you've heard of stuff like the curvature of the spine. This is basically where the rib cage curves inwards and restricts breathing, and it makes me very hard to do things for a long period of time. On the mental side, I suffer from depression, anxiety, gender dysphoria, and also obsessive compulsive disorder. This is the main reason why I have my VTuber rig. I used to be a content creator where I would show my face constantly, and because of my gender dysphoria and my disabilities, I didn't want to be on camera anymore. I didn't want to see my face, see my wheezing, because I could actually physically see myself taking these big breaths. It's affected me in other ways where I have to post-edit my audio in certain cases. Like, I don't edit my streams, but in a lot of cases, I try to edit out my massive breaths. As you can probably hear here, I take very big breaths. It's a struggle for me to get the words out sometimes, to talk, but this has shaped me in a good way, I think. Because I have these disabilities, I can talk about them because they are real things. And in my content, when I discussed Danganronpa 1, I talked about how it affected being trans. I talked about my gender dysphoria. I talked about my depression and my anxiety and my OCD. And eventually, I'm going to get into my physical disabilities on the show. For me, while these disabilities are a deterrent, they make me, and they shape my content in the way that I'm able to produce things in such a way. Being a VTuber has allowed me to become something more than what I am. It has allowed me to create content in a very different way, in a way that is easier for me, so that I don't have to constantly see my face or be worried about my breathing. I can just be who I am, and I think that's a big thing that has shaped the way I have created content because of these disabilities.
I've also found that VTubing has helped me a lot in a lot of different unique ways. It's allowed me to build stories, allowed me to interact with and create character moments with a lot of my friends. It's all like a big game of roleplay, where we're all trying to entertain as many people as possible. And I feel like that without being a VTuber, it would have never have been so easy to relay my character to others, as well as just be as utterly handsome as I am. Thank you for your questions.
Well, I think VTubing has helped me in a couple ways. First of all, who doesn't want to be a fairy? Like, come on. But also, as I said, it's just given me a lot more comfort, I guess, and confidence, because if I don't want to be on camera, I can still stream and viewers don't feel like they're missing out on anything. And I just find the whole tech aspect fascinating. I made this with an avatar making site that allows their avatars to be used in VTubing. And then I just use a little application called Vtube Mini, VEADO Tube Mini. And that was also free. And with that and just two different ping options, one with an open mouth and one with a closed mouth, the software will switch between the two when I'm talking. And it also lets the image sort of bob a little bit, so kind of interactive. In the future, I would love to try something bigger, more professionally designed, but for now, this is what I have and it works. So I would highly recommend doing something like this, even if it's simpler than this, just like a dog or something, I don't know. it will really help you feel like you're still represented and able to interact with people, even if behind the camera you're like crouched into a ball with like 5 heating pads on you. I don't know.
Vtubing has really been like a crucial part in why I'm still streaming today. Vtubing has helped me a lot. It's been a huge help. Originally when I first started streaming, I didn't really intend on becoming a VTuber at all. When I first started streaming, I was a no cam streamer, just didn't show my face or anything. I didn't really have the overlays at all. I did not even have a VTuber model at that time. I had no idea what a VTuber was until a friend of mine, they offered to make me a VTuber model, and I accepted that offer, and it was probably one of the best decisions of my life. After becoming a VTuber, I kind of realized that being a VTuber has really helped me connect more with my chat and be more comfortable in the presence of a camera and in front of an audience. Like, I feel like it's created a sort of parasocial kind of space, a comfortable space where it makes me disconnect from real life for even just like even if it's just for a few hours. It just makes things easier and makes things just more fun in general. And VTubing has just really helped me reach out to new people and meet new people, which I've never really tried to do before. Before VTubing, I've never really tried to actively try to talk to people at all. But VTubing overall has just really helped me socially, and I just feel like it helped me become a better creator overall.
There are many parts to this question. The first is related mainly to being transgender. The second is related to my neurodivergences. Being able to occupy a separate, more accurate body, and use a voice more accurate to my inner dialogue, has meant finally seeing myself represented in the world. In physical space, I'm often seen as, or interpreted as, either a loser degenerate transgender freak, or as a man. In my work, I am just me, my looks unbound by time and space, or the wear and tear that transphobic abuse has had on me. It feels a bit like I didn't really exist before, and now I do. Everything internal was hypothetical, until I worked to bring it out into the world. In real life, because of my neurodivergence, I come across as unemotional, shy, rambly, awkward, inattentive, overly focused on my special interests, so people don't tend to understand me or like me very much, unless they share one of my interests. But in my work, curious people have been brought there to listen to me talk about a subject. I have been given time to cohere my thoughts, and I am able to make intricate spectacles that say more than words can, about what it's like for someone like me to experience this world. And the true logic and beauty of my mind is on display. The depth people did not know was in me, or in people like me, can be seen. Having a platform where I can be myself changes me from this shriveled PTSD-ridden creature into a shining version of who I used to be before this world beat me down. I am no longer afraid to show who I am. In online spaces, which are what disabled people often turn to when the physical world is difficult, we build up a uniquely detailed inner world that nobody in physical space can see, but is more easily represented in VTuber art. We become more real through virtual art forms. Thank you for including me.
VTubing has opened so many different pathways for me, because before, when I was a streamer, I always feel like on camera I was either gloomy or just too absorbed in the game, and I didn't like seeing my face, mostly because it was just me looking at the game. I didn't feel like I had good enough reactions. But now when I'm streaming, I can have all these expressions from my rig without it feel like I'm staring into space negatively, because I just have that kind of face. I feel like VTubing has allowed me to be more confident in my streaming, to have more fun with it. I've done a lot more things with this rig and with VTubing, not just on streaming, but on YouTube, that I probably wouldn't have done otherwise, because this gives me the ability to do a lot of stuff. Obviously, it's not as expressive as a real life face, but for me, it allows me to express myself more than I feel I can in real life. And when I go and, discuss stuff like Danganronpa, or discuss all the other games that I'm reviewing, or I play Fate Stay Night on stream and I can have fun, and it always feels like I'm happy, and I can always tell that the audience is understanding my expressions better than they could before. Some of this is tied to depression, because being depressed and anxious has caused me to withdraw and not show my emotion on my sleeve as much as I used to. But now I have this cute face and I'm a bunny, and I can have fun and manipulate it, and it's more fun to me when it comes to streams than I think anything else before, because I've made a lot of videos before, but I've never had as much fun as I have experimenting with VTubing, especially when I make videos talking about 2 different video games and, comparing them and having fun, just seeing my rig in action. I think VTubing has just helped me express myself and be a better version of myself, be the best version of myself that I can be. And as long as I bring that energy to the table, and as long as I keep being myself, people keep coming to the streams and coming to the videos, and for that, I am eternally grateful.
That's it. Thanks for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this, whether you want to be a content creator, get into VTubing, or many more. VTubing is such a big phenomenon, and I hope to see more disabled creators in this space. Thank you, and have a wonderful time zone.